We straight away move on to the panel session 2. I would request once again Mr. Vivek Sharma to kindly come back in a different role as a moderator, the Regional Vice President, Greater China and South Asia Region, India Operations and Director, India Design Center, STMicroelectronics. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Vivek Sharma. We also have Dr. Ishwardat Parulkar, a CTO, Service Provider Access Group, Cisco Systems. Travis Carr, Vice President and General Manager, PMC Sierra Incorporated. We also have Dr. Suket Singhal, Vice President, Secure Meters Private Limited. Mr. Vasudevan Aghoramurthy, I beg your pardon on that, Vice President, PS and Wipro Technologies. Well, Mr. Vivek Sharma has had a long career of more than 2 decades. Well, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Vivek Sharma.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, and I welcome you to this very, I should say, important panel discussion on ESDM in India. And as we know well that electronic system design as well as manufacturing, so I am emphasizing on manufacturing aspect too. Before I introduce the distinguished panel which is present with us, I would just give a bit short summary of what we are going to talk about today. In the morning, we had the vision, I think multiple times articulated, that by 2020, India should be $400 billion of ESDM. Now, many of us are believers in it, and I think equal numbers are non-believers in it, thinking the enormity of $400 billion, whereas we are close to $60 to $70 billion these days. In the next 10 years, this 400 billion looks really like a Mount Everest. But nevertheless, I would just attempt to convert non-believers maybe into believers, a humble, I would say, effort. Now let's look at the world situation today. With the 7 billion world population and with the consumption of electronics of say around 1800 billion US dollars, this results into something like $250 per head consumption of electronics every year. And if we put it back in India, where it is around 60 to 70 billion dollars, but in India today mostly electronics is getting consumed with the exception of mobile phones by the middle class. If we say that is the bulk, 400, 500 million people are using, that makes $150 consumption per head per middle class person today. 250 worldwide, 150 in India today. In 10 years, if we assume 5 to 6% growth rate, then maybe worldwide per capita consumption of electronics can go to say $500, and we can safely assume that Indian middle class can grow up to 600 million and can also consume $500, which is worldwide average. So $500, 600 million middle class is $300 billion already. Right? Remaining 400 million, even if they consume half of it, this will add to 400 billion. So it's not something magical, it's something doable, and provided we do the things right. And how to make it happen, how to participate positively in that, that is all about the discussion today. One element which remains a question, that India is so successful in services, but when it comes to product, what happens? We can implement great products, but someone needs to tell that which product to be done. What are the basics behind? Is it access to the market? Is it the capability of the people who are present there? Or is it the policy framework coming from the government? I think these are intriguing questions. To handle some of them, we have the panel here today, and I am sure this will give us opportunity and insight to this, I must say, that most important question which we are facing. So let me introduce from the left, right most side, Dr. Suket Singhal. Dr. Suket Singhal, he is Vice President at Secure Meters, coming from famous and beautiful city, Udaipur. And this company, as you may be knowing, most of you, is measuring, managing, and conserving energy and is famous for the energy meters. It has more than 2,000 employees and has experience of more than 25 years. Dr. Singhal himself is a chemical engineer and is a PhD in monitoring stem cells and, of course, monitors electrons now more. And so here, this is a great example of an Indian company which has not only developed the products, designed the products in India, but is also exporting. Just a couple of hours back, it was a pleasant surprise for me that 60% of these products are going abroad, and that too in Europe, which is a tough market, right? So we will have the opportunity to get insights from Dr. Suket that how he has done it. Then we have with us Mr. Travis Kerr from PMC Sierra. He is Vice President and General Manager for Enterprise Storage Division at PMC Sierra. In his earlier role, he was VP and General Manager for the Communication Division. And in his career, he has rose through the ranks and has held multiple positions within PMC Sierra. And with his presence here, I think that we will have the insight that how these companies are operating worldwide and how does he see that what India can do to develop this ESDM sector. Then we have Dr. Ishwar Dutt Parulkar with us, sitting in the middle. He is a CTO of Service Provider Access Group at Cisco, as well as he is a distinguished engineer at Cisco. In his previous roles, he has been the man behind famous Sun Spark systems, as well as in the first generation of laptop and PDA at Apple. So if we are seeing Apple in our hands, maybe somewhere Ishwar has contributed as well. So he holds 19 patents and 30 publications. Again, someone who has worldwide exposure and is present in India and is doing complex design at Cisco. So it would be great to learn from him what else we can do. And finally, we have Mr. Vasudevan Agoramurthy with us, who is Vice President for Semicon and System Solutions Group at Wipro Technologies. In his previous role, he has been involved in R&D for high-end servers, as well as he has architected hardware design services for global market. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to our panelists here. So I believe that this is quite diverse, however complementary panel with worldwide exposure, Indian exposure, and also doing the product design for world leaders, but also doing for India. So with that, I am sure that we will, so the format of our panel is, we will have around 15 minutes presentation from each one of them, and then we will open the house for interaction for another 15 minutes. So maybe to begin with, I invite Dr. Suket Singhal to take, is the presentations with that order, or I go the other way around? I just need to check. From the other way around, right, okay. So then we start with Vasu here. Vasu, please.